Welcome everyone to the Teachers Training Program. This is another effort for us to improve the quality of training programs all over the world for health professionals. And we love to be here. Our mission is to make aspirants to fall in love with whatever we teach. The learners should fall in love with the learning process. That is the mission of EduSkills International. And if you are watching this on YouTube, kindly consider subscribing the channel and give us a thumbs up if you like the work, and do share us your opinions in the comment space, and share the video to others so that we help others and grow together. Now let me share my screen. That's fine, I believe. Let's move.
This webinar aims to support teachers in first thing knowing about themselves and teaching as a profession, and also how maybe certain hints how to convert teaching into a passion. Second one, understanding education as a process of transforming individuals into righteous citizens. Third one, unlocking teaching profession into passion. Fourth one, learning basic facts on the role of communication in teaching. 5, understanding how to professionally relate to learners. 6, developing and reinforcing teaching skills. 7, dispelling myths and clarifying misconceptions. 8, understanding teaching from a global perspective. And 9, equipping teachers for technology enhanced teaching skills. TECH, we call it. Yes. And this is the scenario that we have generally. You'll agree with me. Most of the time, even whoever is learning something will be in such a situation, and we want to change that situation into this particular situation where they are able to understand, enjoy, and have some sort of thrill in their learning process. You know, this could be another situation: frustrated, tired, exhausted, stressed in the learning process, which has to be transformed into a enjoyable process. Into this, where people are just involved, concentrating, fully involved into the learning process, where we enjoy whatever we do and we are not exhausted, but it gives us more and more energy. And the feeling is that we are coming out with a lot of wisdom, energy, and love. Okay, information, you know, teachers give information, but that has to result in formation and come out with the outcome should be transformation. Just giving information is not a teacher's business. You can find information anywhere. You go to Google, you'll find a lot of information, but there is an aspect of formation which involves all the arena or all the aspects of a person or personality. And that's what makes a transformation. That's how we fall in love with the learning process. And education, as usually I tell you, education is equal to righteousness, and the righteousness is equal to right relationships, the right relationship with the self, right relationship with others, right relationship with nature, and right relationship with God. This is exactly what is a righteous person means, or what education aims at: forming or transforming citizens or persons into righteous persons, whereby they have to be balancing 4 levels of their relationship, and right relationship leading to righteousness: relationship with self, others, our brethren, the nature, and God. So education is healing, is a healing process. It's a sort of healing broken relationships. And a person becomes educated, as I told you, when he has healthy relationships. Ultimately, whatever you learn, that's to explore yourself and to balance yourself with the nature, with the brethren, with God, and with self. So breaking relationship, healing broken relationship with self. We are our greatest enemies. I am my greatest enemy. The maximum negativity that we impose on us is ourselves, no one else. In our life, no one in the world would have demotivated or spoken ill of our personality than ourselves. So that has to be corrected. Then the relationship with others and broken relationship with God and nature should go through a process of healing, whereby when you have a healing in the broken relationship with yourself, you have personality development. When you have a relationship with healing relationship with others, you have community outreach, or what we call empowering others. And third one, when you have a healing broken relationship with the environment, you have a collaboration and solidarity with the environment. and you have spiritual growth when you heal your broken relationship with God. Okay, education is simply exploring the divinity within. We aren't giving anything to the learners or the students, but we are just helping them to find out the divinity within them. The Indian philosophy speaks of it as Jnana Yoga. Jnana Yoga means, this being taught in Indian philosophy. Jnana Yoga via education means by learning something new, by learning, gaining wisdom, you will find the divinity within you. And Raja Yoga, the education also should help you to control your mind, emotions, and that will help you to find divinity within you. And Karma Yoga, by doing work or duty, whatever you are doing, you should be able to find the divinity within you. And Bhakti Yoga, through the prayer or other rituals, we should be able to explore the divinity within us. So the angel is within us. We are like a rock with angel inside it. Only thing, through the education process, a teacher helps to chisel out all those unnecessary parts, and the real statue blows out at the end of education process. So where do we start? We have to start with ourselves. Okay, the healing process, the Delphic oracle, this word is written by Socrates, know thyself. We know very little about ourselves, like an iceberg, only a tip of it, not even 1/20th of it will be above the waters, but it will be huge, spreading into kilometers. The transformation of the students, once we transform ourselves, the transformation of the student will have to consider as a teacher their environment where they live in, their competence. We have to assess their competence, understand what is the environment they are in, and their attitude. We have to understand their attitude and the value system, which brings in transformation. Just by knowing what is their competence or knowledge level, we will now be able to transform them or make them fall in love with the process of learning. This is called mapping, motivation, attitude, and professionalism. If you have watched the video, the other students have done it. Today I uploaded it. You will understand what is this. So motivation, attitude, and professionalism is the outcome of environment, competence, attitude, and values. To advance professional excellence, why teaching doesn't work? Okay, most of the time, the teaching doesn't work. We feel it is working, but it isn't working. Actually, that doesn't bring in actual output or the transformation. Why is it? The first thing, this is the biggest ever survey. If you have in the previous media conference, I stated it, conducted by Opinion Research Corporation USA, objective to find out the most serious problem in organizations. Number of companies surveyed, 2,000. Number of employees interviewed, 250,000. Observation is communication is the single biggest problem in organizations. And this is this survey which became an impetus, or this was the genesis, or this was the force behind having all these competitive exams like IELTS, OET, TOEFL, PT, all those exams, because they found the biggest ever survey in the history of humanity found that communication is the single biggest problem in all organizations, including health sector. So they have put a benchmark. They have benchmarked the exams whereby you will be recruited, and this will be a minimum requirement along with your other professional as well as educational qualifications. And why it doesn't work? Because students or learners generally remember 10% of what he or she reads. But most of the people ask the students, parents ask them to read. Why aren't you reading? And they are not able to remember. Some of them are not even able to remember 10%. The best ever concentrating students will remember only 10% of what he or she reads, 20% of what he or she hears. By our lecturing, by our speaking or teaching, they will remember only 20%, 30% of what he or she sees, and 70% of what she or he says. If he speaks out, or when we teach, 70% will remember, 90% of what he or she participates. So when you participate, you remember 90%. So we'll have to be able to put them all together, all these qualities together. They should read something, they should hear something, they should see something. That's why I have made these PPTs so that you can see on your screen what I am saying. So that seeing, visualization will give you 30% more effective learning process. And when you speak out, or when you give the feedback, when you summarize the things, when you teach it to others, you remember 70%. And when you participate in the whole process of learning, you remember 90% of what you get. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to reading 10% and hearing 20% and seeing 30% and speaking 70% and participating 90%. So our business is to combine these things. Maybe hearing when you speak, you will speak at the same time, you will write on the whiteboard or blackboard, or you will show the PPTs on the board so that they remember 30% extra. So you have 50% as I speak as well as I show you the PPT on screen. And when you see, when you hear at the same time, when I make you read something on the screen and ask you to do something, some practical things during the session, you will have the best results. So learning styles, this you should be aware of. You might know it. As I said, learning styles are major. There are so many styles, as many as the individuals are there. That's entirely different, but then they are maybe grouped into three. One is auditory, hearing. Just some of them are dominant in hearing, so they can hear and learn better. And some of them visual learners, they are like when they see something or whatever they say on the screen, they learn it better, 30%, and kinesthetic when they participate 90%, as we said. So what we have to do, we have to make them hear something, make them see something at the same time, make them participate in the learning process. That's how it becomes efficient. Experiential learning. Ever asked someone to do something and they didn't do it? Maybe you ask your kids to do something and they say they are disobedient, or your students are disobedient, but that is not the fact. Teachers should understand, if you ask someone to do something, if they haven't done it, there are scientific reasons. 80% have other priorities. They have some other priorities, so they are not able to do what we ask them to do. Maybe a child is so much interested in something and mommy is calling out the name of the child. Child is fully involved into that. As you saw, a child is sitting with the laptop. When it is fully involved into that, that is its priority, and other things the child will not be aware of. And 20% will disagree. They may not do it because they are not convinced. You are not able to convince that something good for them. And 20% hard of hearing. It could be something like they could not hear properly or grasp properly or understand properly. So these are the reasons, and which we tag as disobedience. It's not disobedience. In fact, these are the scientific reasons a teacher should understand so that we'll be sympathetic towards the learners. And excel in communicative skills or exit from the cosmos of the dictum. Definitely a teacher should have the skills to communicate. So the dictum is excel in communicative skills or exit from the cosmos. Cosmos means this universe. You have no place here. Especially in teaching profession, you have no place if you are not good at communication. And all the multinational companies or all the recruitments, they have benchmarked. And the criteria is 35% of the mark out of 100 will be allotted for communicative skills. So that's very important. Now, polish your English speaking skills for jobs in IT industry. There's Kiran Karnik. The beautiful expression, he says, if you don't have a good ability to speak English, employers won't even look at you. They won't even look at you. He repeats it around 9 times, a half a page report from the Hindu paper. He repeats, will not even look at you as a potential employee. He continuously repeats those factors. So polish your English speaking skills for jobs in IT industry or jobs in teaching or whatever you call it. It's not only IT industry. So a teacher should be always available, respectful, helpful, appreciable, and accessible, supportive, whatever you can say positive about a human being, that all applies to a teacher. And 3 E's, element, environment, and energy. These are the main aspects that you have to focus on the kids. Element means the inborn talents and the capacities, whatever they have, that is called the element. So we should be able to assess and understand the element aspect in a learner. Second one, as I said, environment, where they are living, who are with them, and what sort of friends they have, and what is the atmosphere they have. So that's what I do in my campus. I stress on environment and see that it becomes positive if it is not. And energy, it has to be running through. Now, we are just coming to, somebody had asked me to apply something, how to apply into a paragraph, what you, maybe I'll make it big screen. How to apply the principles. That is the general introduction I gave you for teaching. What is teaching and how it has to be going. And we'll maybe having added points later on. Now, could somebody read this? Is from part B, 1 paragraph. just to tell you how to apply and how to make it visualized or audio and visual and kinesthetic, how to make something, when you teach something, how to make it an experience for the learners. So this is one of the challenging passages. They said, maybe I think it is from the official material test 3, probably. That's my presumption. It is from the official material. Thank you, OET, for allowing us to use this particular passage for academic purposes. And could somebody read this, if you don't mind? Yeah.
Yes, I can read.
Yes.
Confidentiality is central to trust between doctors and patients. Without assurance about confidentiality, patients may be reluctant to seek medical attention or to give doctors the information they need in order to provide good care. However, faced with a situation in which a patient's refusal to consent to disclosure leaves others exposed to a risk so serious that it outweighs the patient's and the public interest in maintaining confidentiality, or if it is not the practical or safe to seek the patient consent, information should be disclosed promptly to an appropriate person or authority. The patient should be informed in advance that the doctor will be disclosing the information provided. This is practical and safe, even if the doctor intends to disclose without the patient's consent.
Okay, now what I want to tell you, if you go to the what you call TPP, okay, TTP, what happens at the end, this is the passage, you'll be able to say what will be the question from this. The questions are so benchmarked, customized, the question formation cannot be done in any other way. Okay, you will understand, you'll be able to tell me at the end of TTP, like, what will be the question from this paragraph? Because they cannot ask any other question, because those are the strategies being used in this paragraph, or the paragraph is selected in such a way. That is the thing. Now, some of you can respond. We'll interact 2-3 minutes. So could you tell me what is the topic of this paragraph?
About the confidentiality.
Yes, confidentiality is the key word. And what is the topic sentence?
Confidentiality.
No topic sentence?
Confidentiality is central to trust between doctors and patients.
Okay, that is the
Topic
sentence. Means the main sentence of the paragraph. Confidentiality is central to trust between doctors and patients. Now, you can see confidentiality being repeated. The key word will be, all the synonym will be repeated continuously several times in the, I see again you have here. So as I said, skimming, you should be able to understand. And there is a heading, but I did not show you the heading because you have to find out the heading. And is there some more confidentiality? And could you just tell me, as they read, did you find any strategies that I taught you here? Maybe somebody can read it once again and try to identify the. We are going back to the question. Actually, we go from question. When you learn, you will start from question to text. But now we are going from text to question to find out what will be the question. Could somebody read once again, and probably you can guess what will be the question from this. We are taking only one paragraph. Okay, we'll take it in detail a little bit so that you know how to teach.
Confidentiality is central to trust between doctors and patients. Without assurance about confidentiality, patients may be reluctant to seek medical attention or to give doctors the information they need in order to provide good care.
So if you find any strategical words, just note it down, okay? Or underline if you have a text.
However, faced with the situation in which a patient refuses to consent to disclose leaves others exposed to a risk so serious that it outweighs the patient's and the public interest in maintaining confidentiality, or if it is not practical or safe to seek the patient consent, information should be disclosed promptly to the appropriate person or authority. The patient should be informed in advance that the doctor will be disclosing the information provided this practical and safe, even if the doctor intends to disclose without the patient consent.
So what is the gist of it? Now, what is the main word here? Strategical word. Yeah.
Which situation the confidentiality which disclosed?
No, about the strategies I taught you, no, like modal verbs. Then you have
Modal verbs.
comparison, contrast.
Contrast.
Yeah,
Contrast means
where is the contrast word?
however.
Yeah. However, yeah. So what I'm telling, as I told you, if there is a contrast word, answer will be following
Yes.
that. We call it a question based on exceptions. See, they are saying confidentiality is central to trust between doctors and patients, means you should not break the confidentiality. You should not divulge the information given by the patients to someone else. But then immediately after two sentences, there is a contrast. However, we call it a question based on exception. There's a general rule, but there is an exception. So whenever there is a contrast, the answer will be something that follows the contrast word. So what could be the contrast answer here, or what could be the question here on the exception? See, you should not reveal, you should not speak out, or you should not tell anybody whatever the patients share. But then say, pakshe, however, they are speaking about exception.
When
Appropriate time for disclosing confidential
Information.
Yeah, when
Yes.
can you, as per this, after
when a doctor can
confidentiality.
when a doctor can disclose the patient's privacy situation.
disclose?
If the information did not disclose, if
Information.
it can affect the
leave-
others. So,
Leaves
yeah,
others exposed to a risk.
yeah, that's
Correct,
right.
Yes.
Yes. So what is it here? Now we are presuming this could be the question and answer, because however is there. So what I'm telling you, once you become competent in this, you need not even look at the questions. You can frame the questions from the text. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes,
That
father.
could be that could be the assessment for TTP, not the other way about find out the answers. The TTP assessment will be, you will be given a paragraph. You have to make questions out of it. So what do you think will be the question? And here, do you have any other modal verbs? Could you find any modal verbs?
Yeah, may,
should
should,
Yeah,
maybe
should
Maybe
be
will,
disclosed
Will be.
promptly. Should be disclosed promptly.
Should be.
promptly.
Then again
Okay.
also. Again.
Again, you have the patient should be informed.
in advance.
Should be informed. Does it mean must be informed?
no, Father.
No.
Just
No,
In advance, there the doctor will be disclosing the information, provided this is practical and safe. Provided, when should you inform? When it is practical and safe. Otherwise, what does it mean? You need not inform. Correct, no?
yes.
yes.
So let's see. There is a heading. Actually, for TTP assessment, we will not give you the heading. Actually, in the text, there is a heading like this. So patient confidentiality is the heading there. Heading of this particular text. This is from part B reading. So, patient confidentiality, immediately you have to foresee or predict. In the first method, I told you how to predict patient confidentiality. What are they going to say? Is it proper to break the confidentiality? Should we keep the confidentiality? Are there some exceptions? See, this is the question. Could you read the question?
Doctors are advised to break patient confidentiality if option A,
What is the keyword here? STEM word?
Advised break.
break
Advised.
patient confidentiality.
Advice. No.
Advice.
Yeah. You see, when there are opinion and fact, normally such questions will be like you will have advised as and there is also if. If means conditional, right?
Yes.
If, yeah, doctors are advised to break patient confidentially if something happens. Only if something happens. So could you read the options?
Option A, failure to do so would put other people in danger. Option B, they inform the patient of their intention in advance. Option C, A patient refuses to disclose information relevant to their care.
Okay. A patient refuses to disclose information relevant to their. The patient doesn't disclose anything. He doesn't speak at all. Can you break the confidentiality?
No.
See, the patient doesn't.
Patient is not
The
active.
the patient doesn't speak anything. Doesn't speak. Keeping mum. He doesn't reveal anything. Is there a question of breaking the confidentiality then?
No.
No.
Which means it is not at all relevant. The C1 is not at all relevant. They inform the patient of their intention in advance. That's a factual statement. If they inform the patient of their intention in advance, that's a factual statement. It's a fact. They inform the patient of their intention in advance. If they inform, they can. Factual. Failure to do so would. What does would speak about?
Model verb.
Model
Opinion.
Model verb about the future, right?
Yes, Father.
Will, would, about the future. So if something happens in the future, if means you can break the confidentiality if such a situation arises, which is speculation, right? If means speculation, predicting the future. So here there is a speculative modal verb. So it has to go here. This is a factual statement. Let's see. Analyze this question. See, if conditional, would speculation. So opinion is given here. Doctors are advised to. Advising is opinion, right? Advised to do something.
Yes.
Yeah. It's not must. It is should, right? It's not must. Advised means advisory is, you see here, advice, recommendation, suggestion, should, not must. Okay, so it is an opinion. The second one is a factual statement. Third one is not at all relevant. So modal verb should is used here, which means advice, which is also given here. And you will see in the paragraph the same thing. See, should is used. Should be informed. Should be disclosed promptly. Did you get the idea?
Yes, Father.
Yeah.
Yes,
This is how you have to go back words and learn. As I told you, advice, should is advice. See, this is should means advice, recommendation, or suggestion, the modal verb. Doctors are advised to break patient confidentiality. Should is here, should be informed in advance. So it is not must. They inform the patient of their intention in advance. It's a fact. But here it says should be informed. Should be not, it's not must be. Should be is not, must be. So, however, when there is a contrast word, next, as we said, the answer is failure to do so would put other people in danger. Where is the answer? See here, disclosure leaves others exposed to a risk. Exposed to a risk. See the words used, synonyms, paraphrasing. See here, risk, leaves others exposed to risk. Here, danger, risk. Synonym, right?
Yes,
Am I audible?
Father.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
Yes.
yeah, failure to do so would put other people, leaves other people exposed to a risk. Would put other people, synonym used is leaves
Leaves other.
others exposed to. See how beautifully they have done it. And all those things are connected. That's what I said. Looking at the question, this paragraph, a teacher definitely knows if he or she is competent. Looking at this contrast word, this is a question based on exceptions. Based on exceptions. Confidentiality is central to trust between doctors and patients is the categorical statement, the topic sentence. But at the second part, after the contrast, they are giving exception. In certain situations, you are not bound by confidentiality, ethics of confidentiality. You can, when others' life is in danger, you can. And even if should be informed in advance that the doctor will be disclosing the information, provided this is practical and safe. Only if it is practical and safe, and should be, it's not must be. Like, depends on doctor's discretion or your discretion, whether you should inform or not. Is that clear?
Yes, Father.
Yes.
Father.
Yes, these things we will see next time. How you can play online games and all, football and all, we will see next time. Do you have any clarifications on this? This one paragraph I took because somebody sent it to me saying that it's challenging. Do you have anything to ask? Shall I stop staring? Okay. This is similar for every competitive exam. The only difference between TOEFL, IELTS, OET, these exams is this. OET has professional text. No? IELTS needs academic language, OET needs professional language, and that's the main difference. So there are three types of language. One is academic, one is professional, and the other one is colloquial or the informal language. Professional as well as academic is known as formal language. In OET, if you use academic expressions, they are not appreciated. For example, moreover, it's very academic. That's why they say you should not be using it in OET. So those are the highlights you should know when you teach, so that you can focus on that. Why that is not allowed? Because your language should be profession focused and profession restricted when you are teaching OET. Whereas IELTS is purely academic. All the expressions should be academic. For example, in IELTS, you cannot use first person. I believe that. No, that's wrong. It is believed that. Third person you have to use. It's believed that this is so and so. Whereas in definitely in your OET, you can use your first person. There is no issue. So there are certain major differences of this sort. When we understand, even OET becomes easy for you, or your IELTS becomes easy for you. And the maximum is 10 to 15% difference between. For example, the 7 principles, the video I uploaded today for IELTS, it's exactly same for OET and TOEFL. But only difference for OET is this: instead of direct and indirect speech, out of the 7 principles, you have passive voice. That's the only difference. Did you understand? Out of the 7 principles, it says direct and indirect speech in IELTS and TOEFL, but here you have what you call passive voice in OET. Yeah, that's the only difference. Otherwise, everything is same. And the difference is that your text for reading or listening audio will be focused on your profession. Whereas IELTS, TOEFL, they can choose it from anywhere in the world, mostly from media, technology, science, even health topics are there, or communication. All those subjects they can choose: environment, health. So that's the difference. Whereas you have only health related, professional related text as well as audio. Yes.
Hi, Father.
Yeah.
It's not just a doubt. I just really wanted to congratulate you because of this initiative. Because when I did OET, I never knew that.
Yes.
So when I did my OET, I never knew this kind of platform was there. And I guess your students are so lucky without any profit. This is really, a motivation. So I really want to congratulate your initiative, Father. So I
yeah, thank you. Thank you. Congratulations goes to EduSkills family. I am just a part of it. Okay. Yeah. There are so many of them doing it. Yes. Thank you, Alfonso. Great. Let's work together. And if all of you plan and work together, definitely the whole world can receive this quality training. That's why we are trying to train you. It's not a big thing. For you to take up some, maybe one, you need not take all the subtests. You can take 1 or 2 in IELTS module. There's another difference. Okay, in IELTS, TOEFL, they call it module, and here they call it subtest. Yes, 4 modules and 4 subtests. Alfonso, where are you from? Sorry, Alfonso, I could not hear you what you said in the second part.
No. As you asked me, where are you? I'm also from Kerala. Right now, I'm in UK, working as a nurse. So my friend told there is a platform to help others without any payment. So I thought whatever I can also help.
Okay, great.
I'm so happy to meet you, Father.
Yeah, great.
Profit. So
okay.
That's.
But that is not the fact. There is a lot of profit. Okay. Cash is the lowest thing that you can call profit. The happy life, the contentment, the satisfaction, the joy that you enjoy is the biggest profit that you gain.
Yeah, true.
Because the world teaches us only in monetary terms some profit, no? Yes. When you have money, that is the profit. You don't. What is the profit of having your children? Loss, right? If you have children, you have only loss, expenses. Do you have any profit having children?
Children is definitely a profit. They're a gift from God, Father.
No, how does it become profit? in the normal sense. For example, a lot of expenses. You have to struggle and accumulate so much money to bring them up. So what I'm just trying to hint at is profit means not monetary profit. That's one aspect, maybe the least aspect, as I have experienced in my life. Thank you anyhow, Alfonso. You are a great inspiration for us. Be with us, and if you, that's great. And that's the profit out of it is for generations. The monetary profit is temporary, maybe for some time, but the other profit will be for generations. The blessings. Any other suggestions? Anything that you want to tell me? I am a bit afraid about TTP because TTP is taxing. Now I am going on a low mode, and in reality, TTP is really challenging and taxing. And I know if I go in the real sense of TTP, next time half of the candidates will not be there on floor. Else?
Yeah, I'm enjoying your class. Like, I'm a beginner. I really enjoyed it, Father. I feel I have just started from the scratch. It's really good. So I hope to listen more from you, learn more from you. That's it.
Maybe you can introduce yourself and the institute, your institute.
Yeah, I'm Cicely. I'm running an institute. Now it is online. I have been running it offline for almost 3 years. Then when the lockdown came, currently I'm working online, but I'm taking only IELTS sessions. That's it. And I like the way Father teach a lot. That's why I got inspired. And see, many students come. Many of them do not know how to speak English. But Father's way of teaching I really liked. When we teach, what I have learned from my experience is we should never be profit oriented. When you teach, you have to ensure your students pass the exam, not just the months. I really, from the beginning, I usually tell my students, you just don't take the exam unless and until you're sure you're going to pass. And that's the way I think Father also, he's not at all profit oriented. We have to ensure that the students pass the exam, and we should actually give them extra classes. Maybe hours could be, but it's our duty being a teacher to ensure that they make it through the exam. That's what I do. And very few students, but even before the exams, I told them you're not going to pass. And have missed the IELTS, and that's all about myself.
Yes. And I know her from her teenage, and I visited her recently at her residence, and I went to Rajini's house. And they are like neighbors over there. Yes. We are happy that you are here with us. Good.
Thank you, Father.
And yeah, I am tempting her with OET as well now.
Yeah.
Today I just give you a view so that what you have to do, you have to work out. As teachers, if you want to improve, you have to start from the passage and go to the questions. Try to predict the questions from the passage, keeping all those strategies that we learned for OET.
Father, I have a Sindhu with this side. Father,
Yeah.
I have a big doubt always. Many of us, including me, many of us having problem in reading. And
Okay.
even though even in group discussion also, they always says that okay, when Father's class we are attending, we are getting the things and we can do. But when we move, when we do ourselves alone, we are not getting the paragraph, or we are not able to understand. They know the things, what is modal verbs and what is contrast and what is comparison. But I don't know what is the main problem where in group discussion where I am facing that they are by-hearting the things or they are understanding the things. I don't know. They are not able to identify, even though they knows each and everything. Contrast words are there. These are the modal words. These are the comparison. I have to see. This is the topic sense, but they are unable to locate the answer. So how to tackle these? How we can explain? Because a particular paragraph, as you discussed about confidentiality, they know the answer. They have maybe they will see all the they will listen or they will attend this class. After that, when we taking a new paragraph, Again, the Shankarani is on the coconut only. So when we discuss, they will say all the, okay, this is modal verbs, and but they are unable to locate the answer. How we can tackle this one as an animator?
You cannot tackle it. No human being, no teacher in the world can tackle it, because as you said, when you are trying to find the answers, you are wrong. You have to improve the competency in the language is your business.
But
It's not to find,
unfortunately, 90% candidates are just looking for the result OET 350. They are just the target.
No. That's what I said. 90, no, I believe it is more than 98% just target on the scores. They don't want to improve their language competency. And that's why we have such failures, like huge number of them going third time, fourth time, fifth time, 10th time, attempting OET or IELTS, because they are not improving their competency, number one. Okay. This is like they are just going with the knowledge and equating knowledge with the skill. See, when I teach you driving, normally I tell you this, I want to repeat it. If I am teaching you driving, I tell you this is steering. If you turn this side, move, the vehicle will move this side. If you turn this side, it will move this side. This is brake, this is clutch, this is accelerator, and gear. I show you this is first gear, second gear, third, fourth, fifth, and you understand everything, right? Can you drive in 80 kilometers? No, you will not be able to even start and take one step, one meter ahead, it will stop. Then again you try, then it will stop. Then gradually in first gear, you will have to move. Then in second gear, it will take weeks and months for you to go into 60 or 80 kilometers per hour. That is skill that you need to develop. Understanding is knowledge. Skill is the competency. Skill means it becomes part of your personality or your life. You know, once you are competent in and you are good in driving, after learning everything, when you are experienced, you don't think of clutch or brake or steering or nothing that you think of. You'll be just talking to somebody and moving. Automatically it happens. Or blind typing. You don't look at the letters. So second thing is that one. Third one is recently one example I want to tell you. 2 weeks back, I had been to a very interior village where the priest said in a school, 10th students almost, he doesn't think they will be able to write exams because they are so much frightened of the exam, especially because of the corona and all that. One thing I asked them, how many of you have come to 10th standard from KG or from first standard without failing in any class? I tell you, literally everybody raised their hands. So I told them, exam is equal to success. Your experience is every year you wrote the exam and you succeeded. So exam is equal to success is your experience, not me telling you or someone else telling you. That is your experience from the very beginning till today. Now somebody has inserted in your mind, your enemy, somebody has interested, exam is equal to failure. Exam is equal to failure. So the fear starts. But then the experience is entirely different. So it's all, they create a sort of fear in the candidates. And reading and listening is difficult for everybody in OET. That is the easiest two modules. I tell you, writing is, as compared to reading and listening, writing is really challenging. You need your own stuff. Reading and listening, you don't require any of your stuff. Everything is there. You need to understand and write. That's all. But writing, you need to know how to transform the case notes, how to organize the paragraphs, how to construct the paragraphs, how to interpret it. Everything you need to know, which is not required in reading and listening. But then, even in speaking, you need to speak. Without fluency, you cannot speak. But then reading and listening, people they have created a phobia saying that it's difficult. Then normally, they don't teach. They teach only speaking and writing. Why? Because that needs real competency, but that is the easiest two modules, two subtests. Even in IELTS, TOEFL, or here. Maybe listening a bit challenging depending on the accent. That's all. But reading is the easiest one, but everybody says reading is difficult. So this false impression is created. You have to practice. What is the use of practicing? That's why I tell the people, if you have lost 2 times, either OET, IELTS, whatever the exam, if you have lost 2 times, you have to stop. then unlearn the things and start learning. Change your strategies, change your way of still learning. Because, you know, in the first attempt, they have a doubt, this is right or that is right. Then some more other they write and it becomes right. You know, they select some answer, it becomes right. But then they practice in the wrong way. After the second and third attempt, they are sure the wrong is right. Wrong answer is the right answer. They are convinced. So we'll write the wrong answer as the right answer and get a lesser score. The score goes low and low. So that's why I said there are people who contact me. Often they say, Father, I am not a beginner. I have written 3 times or 4 times. So I want advanced classes. But when I just assess them, I understand they are not beginners. They are pre-beginners. Means they have one step go more than the beginners because they have to unlearn so many things. Then they have to learn new things. So they are not beginners. They are pre-beginners. So this is a sort of mentality being created. That's what I want to change. Even in you, I tell you, even now in you, most of you, that phobia is there inside. That's why I'm trying to put you from this side to that side to this side, text to question, question to text, you know. And I tell you, for example, this particular passage which I took you, you take any questions, any material from anywhere, if it is authentic material, you will have this one type of exception question in OET definite. Even sometimes more.
Yes.
I said no, question about the exception. That is after the contrast.
Yeah, it
appears. So if you know those strategies, they cannot ask you a question out of it. They have no freedom. When they frame the questions, they have no freedom at all. They are supposed to frame this way. I told you, looking at the answer key, you can make out whether a material is authentic or not authentic. How? I've taught you in the elimination method. If there are 4 options, it's almost like it should be 25 each. 25A answer, 25B answer, 25C answer, 25D answer. Could be an exception with 1 or 2 this side or that side. Normally 25 each. If there are 3 options, 35% each, A, B, C. So you calculate and find out maybe in one option you don't have 35, you have only 20. Then rest of the things you just mark the other one. So you just looking at the answer key, you can make out whether the material is authentic or not. That is a competency. You need not read all the passages and find out whether the material is authentic. Maybe material is authentic, but the questions are not okay. Did I answer? Sindhu?
Yeah, Father. Yeah, yes, you did.
Yeah.
Father.
Yeah.
Now what TTP platform? Our responsibility to take out the fear.
One more thing, to take off the fear, first thing is to ask them to slow down. The more practice materials they do, they are not the competent ones, they are killing themselves. There is a primary thing I told you, maybe part A. You take 1 week, you are improving your competency, not part A. You are improving your language. As you go through the competency and language, when you become competent in language, B becomes easier. C becomes even easier. Because from the A itself, you can understand what is a paragraph, what is a text, what is the sequence, and even there are 4 paragraphs, right? So you can understand everything from part A. So it is connected to part B because there are 4 paragraphs. The paragraph is independent in itself. And it is definitely connected to C because C, there is a sequence in each text between every paragraph. So what happens? You have to ask them to slow down. And if they have booked their exam, there is no way to convince them.
Yes, Father, that's the main thing. The
Yeah.
day one on, I observed that the day one onwards, they are looking for how to perform in the exam the way we are. No, I ask them, you just don't go for any question or answer.
No.
Just understand the paragraph. Just whatever it is important to you, just note down and take the note that only. Don't go for the question. Because until unless you will not understand the paragraph, how we will be able to find out the answer. I think they are towards the answer only, looking out without understanding the word, looking the question and just they are in a hurry to search the answers.
No,
so
in the initial stage, score is not to be considered at all. Score is not relevant at all.
Yeah,
how they have
Father.
how they have understood is important. It is just like this. Doing more practices every day is just like you need a baby, and you know you have to wait 9 months pregnancy period, but you are in a hurry. So eat, maybe your husband tells you eat everything so that baby grows fast, and the husband makes you eat everything, and you have diarrhea and other issues. Will the child grow? It's equally that. Nothing happens. Then the negativity or problems, frustrations, nothing happens by too many practices. I tell my aspirants, if you don't enjoy, please don't do it. If you are enjoying, do it. Otherwise, it's not for your cup of tea. That's why I always tell them, fall in love with the thing. And I tell them, if you like, you fix a time. If you are not able, a disciplined person, if you can't read, you can't write, you can't listen, you have no concentration, at least start writing one paragraph, one text. Write down, just write down. It will give you a lot of ideas. And if you know the PPT, create PPTs. I said visual memory, visualization is the best ever capacity that human beings have in learning process. So the teaching is not, I tell you, this is one of the best things that you can make it as a passion. In the future, even now, there is a lot of scope, like even for earning purpose. Even otherwise, teaching is a best profession, passion that you can definitely energize you. But then you need, in the initial stage, you need to understand all these basic things. That's it. It takes time. That's why I said that paragraph, I have not taken that it in entirety. We'll be visiting that same paragraph again to show you various different things. Today, I don't want it to go more than 40 minutes. So I have just glanced through connecting the question and paragraph. And once you have to instruct the students, if they don't understand even a single sentence in any material, they are not supposed to start next material. Unless and until they clarify those things, understand those things. And the language functions are same. I told you, this type of questions will be there in every material. So if you learn all the materials, other day I told you, comparison. If you understand comparison, this is contrast. If you understand comparison, one question will be on comparison. You definitely understand it. The other one I said you have like something like calculation and comparing. That will be another trick they play. Other day we had 20 kg, 10 kg plus 10 kg, 100 ml and 50 ml. Same type of questions. Then you have to make them write down the same expressions, and diaries are very, very important. Diaries for maybe for each strategy, or at least different segments in a particular book. That's very, very important. You have to ask them to practice that, and they have to post it in the platform so that we will understand, or you can discuss each other and learn together and understand if there are mistakes. Because some of them, like recently I find some of them had written synonyms. They understood it as antonyms. And the diary is going on antonyms. Heading is synonym, but all the words are antonyms. That's what I said. Mistake will become perfect, because every time they add on, and they think that is synonym.
I was thinking how to implement this, because as Sindhu had asked, what can we do to improve this? How can we practice?
No, there is nothing that we can practice. Gradually, what we have to do, we have to slow down the aspirants, slow down. And if they have not taken the exam, the world will not end with 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. Let them take delayed. Let them have the competency. Let them enjoy the learning process. And I say, even if you lose your exams, it's not a matter. You will improve your competency. That's not the end of it. No. And everybody, like, there should not be the habit of booking the exam in advance. You complete and you are confident, then take 1 month or 2 months. If you don't get the date, don't worry. You become more confident and more competent. And definitely bag A's in all the modules. No issue. Now, even this one I told you, I was telling you from the very first session, you remember, you have to target 450, not B grade. Everybody targets 350. And when they get 30, 31, 32, their subconscious mind says, okay, you are competent. What happens when you go for the exam? You stop in 340, 330, 320. But if you have to target 450, you will not be satisfied until you get 35 above. Then what happens? By all means, you will reach somewhere 400 plus. in the exam, even if you lose some marks. So that is also important. Psychologically, those things do affect our performance. So it's possible. That's why we are doing all these efforts. Even in the platform, when you interact, you have to tell them, be patient. And those who are going very fast, they will come back to the platform again. Make them convinced. Yeah, they will write their exams and they will come back. As I told you, there are so many of them whom I know from 8 months, 9 months. I've been sending them links and things. They never respond. And they write, they go to the institutes and write 2-3 times. Now they come and say, this is my 4th attempt, father. I want to get it some more other. But then until then, they would not be influenced by anything. They want to write. And there are many of them, I have heard them saying that I have taken 3 dates. Please pray for me. This is my 1st attempt. I have taken booked 3 dates. I said, I need not pray for you for the 1st and 2nd attempt because you have paid money. You have to fail. Otherwise, it is a waste. No? So they won't give you back the money. So what you can do? So 1st and 2nd, I did not pray. 3rd attempt, we'll try. We'll have some prayer for you. Okay. Those are the incidents. We can't help it. Only thing, through the main platform and your empowering groups, you can, maybe you have your own empowering groups. There you can pass on this message. And you can even post something in your small group, maybe additional to the daily tasks, small things, 1 paragraph. Take this paragraph and try to explain. Ask them to do it. Do you understand? So they will slow down. Because nobody thinks of practicing 1 paragraph, right? In B. Do you ever think of practicing 1 paragraph? No, to make you practice only A or B or C, it's difficult. Now, out of 5 or 6 paragraphs, 1 paragraph means what practice is it? You have to bring them to that. Let's take 1 paragraph and enjoy it this day. And imagine 30 days, 30 paragraphs, different types of paragraphs. If you take, you are competent within a month. But it takes time. And skill cannot be developed overnight. No way, no teacher can help for it. Skill has to be developed gradually, consistent practice. And if there is a gap, I tell you, sometimes some people have a lot of issue. If they break for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, then it's very difficult for them to catch up again. Some of them catch up, maybe in the beginning, 1 week, 2 weeks, they will have struggle, then they will go into the competency. But some of them find it very hard to reach back to the competency. Once you are competent in something, that is fine. Then there is a gap, no issue. Until then, you have to be consistent. Why don't you take IELTS? I had given an essay yesterday, a simple essay. You can also try writing it. The person who has influenced you most. Write a 250 words essay on a person who has influenced you most. So create some paragraphs, 2-3 paragraphs, introduction, conclusion. Then let there be 1 topic sentence, supporting sentences, developing sentences. If you have any clarification on that, go to that video, PEL, point, explanation, evidence, link. That will give you a clear idea. These sessions, maybe one session, you need 1 week's practice to get the competency. Again, it applies to you as well. Having sessions, you will understand the things. Competency comes only by practice. Now you'll have to search out where you have these exception questions, contrast expressions and exception questions, and collect those things and present yourself. Okay, bye-bye. God bless you.
Thank you, Father.
Thank you, Father.